is Coffee with the Summerland Kids. This is the California report. I'm actually in California right now in downtown Los Angeles. My buddy Yuri's loft, my old stomping grounds. And today the weather in Summerland is 54 degrees and it's 69 for the high. It's partly cloudy right now, so it's actually foggy down here in LA right now. I shot some photos this morning. It's kind of interesting. It's like a little chilly, and a little foggy.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. I'd seen
Yeah.
some of those pictures. They look almost retro pre-70s because I guess the fog and the lens and stuff is just wow.
I know.
That's
It's like
cool.
that. I know. I woke up yesterday at like freaking. I mean, I did the same thing today, but like waking up at like 5 in the morning and getting out there and taking some pictures. But today I just shot from the back window, like those hotel shots. That's out the back window of my buddy's place. You know. So
Wow, that's
yeah.
awesome. I'm gonna pop over on the Facebook
Okay.
and make our stream live.
Okay. Cool. Nice. That's
It's
awesome.
usually a little bit, but we'll upload it so they'll get the intro if they watch the replay.
Okay. Cool.
Um,
That's rad.
kind
Sweet.
of the same thing. We're doing the same thing. I'll change the settings. I guess that'll be level 4.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's cool. And I can hear the noises right now. They're opening the doors downstairs because downstairs they sell pinatas. It's a whole pinata village right below my buddy's place. You know, so
Oh yeah, it's a
classic.
holiday weekend. I guess
Yeah,
they
it's a
like
holiday
to.
weekend. I know. I'm gonna go try to find more ties today. I went tie hunting yesterday and I got a few prospects. So today I'm gonna do my hunting for the ties and actually just make the purchase. Probably gonna get like 24 pieces or something like that.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what, like about a $50 investment if you can find the right deal.
Yeah, at least it might be like 70. I mean, we'll see. It looks like it's like, um, so one guy said like, oh, 3 for 10. Another one was like, I'll give you 12 for 36. I'm like, okay, so that's probably the best I can do on that. It's kind of since it's been like 3 years or so since I bought a bunch. Some of the stores have closed that I used to go to, but the fashion district's pretty happening. I mean, yesterday there's like, you can see there. I mean, there's hundreds of people shopping out there. Downtown when it's open and busy. Like at after 12 o'clock or something. I mean, the pinata doors just opened just now, so they start their day early and they put everything out. So they literally create like almost like an art installation for setup of their business. So the businesses at nighttime close up and retract and pull themselves into their buildings, but in the daytime they bring it all out. So it looks like a full-on fiesta party, basically. You know,
Yeah, that's cool. Have you ever done paper mache pinatas?
I've done some paper mache, but I don't think I made a pinata before. You know,
Yeah, that's a very fun modality, art
no, for
modality.
sure.
You get it all over your hands, and it's just so
Exactly.
much fun for someone like me who's just like, yay!
Right.
And you can
Yeah,
make it
totally.
do anything. I mean, if you I don't know how much sculpture you do, but that I've always liked sculpting and clay. I'm not saying I'm the greatest porcelain maker, but
Right.
I do enjoy that part of art. The sculpting and dealing with ceramics and glazes and bringing the color to a brown terracotta pot is pretty fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We used to do like we blow up a balloon, and then you have the balloon, the firm balloon shape, and then you just lay the paper mache over the balloon, and then it hardens up, and then I guess the balloon you can pop it or whatever, but it just retains that shape. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm in a new location today. I'm actually in my front. Oh, look at that! I'm in my front yard.
nice,
Got a bunch of little starter plants and
sweet,
some garlic and tomato
nice,
on
nice.
on our little thing starting. So
That's
my,
awesome.
my girlfriend said, "Why don't you go in the front yard today?" So I said, "Okay."
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's rad. Hell yeah. Yeah, so it's different being out here. I mean, it hits you right away when you get into California, like the vast, because coming from like Arizona into on the train into California, California, man, there's a lot of people here. You can, it's like, wow, dude, all those houses, man, and they're living way outside of Los Angeles. Like LA starts like out there by Riverside or whatever the heck it is, way out there, man. The stretch of the community stretches pretty far out there, you know?
Yeah, well, Riverside used to be just, a lot of out you're like out away from the city, and now it's just growing into a giant suburb.
No,
Um,
for sure.
I mean, you go from LA to Riverside, you really don't have any wilderness areas unless you're all the way out, I guess, on the 210. Is that the one closest towards the
Yep.
mountains?
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right. Yeah, it skirts the backside of the whole mountain scene. Yeah. And the train, I don't know how they decided the train route, but it's probably an ancient train route that they've been doing for 100 years or something, you know? And
Yeah.
so you really see the infrastructure on the train because you're on a passenger train, you're on the passenger train, but you see all the Freightliner trains and all the products coming into Los Angeles and where they're essentially storing them before they come into town. So it's almost like a train loading dock. I think they used to call it the piggyback yard or something like that. And they've moved it outside of town because I think they actually want to build a Olympic Village near downtown because there's a Olympics coming up. I'm not sure the year, but I want to say maybe it's a couple of years from now. Maybe it's next year. I don't know, but it's coming up, man.
So we're getting the Olympics again in LA. Didn't we have the
Yeah, I'm
Olympics
pretty
in LA
sure.
before?
Yeah, they were in 1984. I think it was the last time that it was here. Um, so it's a big deal for them, man. It's they'll build up for it, but it's amazing how quick the construction happens now. Like for example, since I've been gone, some skyscrapers have been built, and finished, really close to finished. There's one epic couple skyscrapers that were not finished, but they have been taken over by graffiti artists. So the graffiti artists have broke into the facility and spray painted like literally 25 floors all the way around with their work.
Oh no,
So
I've seen more than one video
yeah.
of that whole place, and I was watching a video the other day of how they kind of blocked it off with new fences, but somebody had managed to climb up there and run a slack line across the two buildings
No way.
and did the slack line across, and that was kind of a big thing. People have been, base jumping off it and stuff. So they had put a whole perimeter security up
Uh-huh.
around that. Is what the
Yeah.
last thing I was watching about that building, those
No,
buildings.
for sure. And someone is probably kind of like, um, back at the office, the main HQ. They're like, man, we're spending $1,000 a day on security now. At least I would imagine for a contract for a company to manage that observation and lockdown. So. But I look at it like a free paint job for those guys. I mean, if they were smart, they would just like straight up like leave the spray paint, of course, scrape the windows, but leave everything else. And then it's like embrace the coolness of all that color that's been laid down.
Yeah, kind of embrace the culture of what is rather than saying, no, this is how we wanted it to be. And we're
Right?
going to try and hold on to this, what we can't hold on to, because we want something other than the way it is.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like embracing the graffiti culture. And I think down in Venice Beach, they have some walls that are like, I don't know if they call them free walls or not, but like a space that's okay to paint. So they are allowed to change it up daily if they want to. And that's cool too. It's like giving kids and, those active in the graffiti community a place to do their art without feeling like they're breaking the law. So it
I
really,
don't like that term graffiti. Let's call it the mural community,
yeah,
the
mural work.
street
Yeah,
mural
exactly.
community.
Yeah, the mural community. Yeah, so the public mural community needs places to do their murals, and sometimes people do pay them to do their work, and they designate a big wall for the new mural. And I have one friend, Robert Vargas. He did I can't name. I don't know the name of the Dodger player, but there's a famous Dodger player who's right now. He's actually in some controversy because his interpreter got in trouble for gambling, and So they just did a big mural for him on the side of a building in Little Tokyo. So that's pretty cool. Robert Vargas
No,
did
that's awesome.
yeah,
I'm a Summerland picker, and
yeah.
we recently picked a shed, but the neighbor had this really cool van. I don't know if I sent you the picture. It's got the flames on the front.
Oh,
It's an old
classic.
plumbing truck, and so my buddy that we do some flips and some picking. He's like, "Oh, we got to get an artist, a graffiti artist, to do the box part because it's got some other guy's name on it for an old
Uh-huh.
plumbing truck." And we
Okay.
were thinking, "Oh yeah, we'll just do it with spray paint and do it real artsy and Art Deco and
Yeah.
make our business name
Yeah.
um,
No, that's cool.
in a
It,
tag form in that graffiti style of painting."
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's great that in the arts district where I ended up in LA, there was a lot of guys that were super active in the community, and they still are. I mean, there's always an ever-changing cast of characters that are involved, and then the levels of their work is various levels. So some people just do stuff really quick, um, and then other people spend a lot of time when they can, like especially when they're designated the approval to be there. That's the ideal because you can really take your time to do your best work, and then your work in some cases gets respected and not sprayed over. So sometimes work stays there for quite a long time. And that's ideal to have your work be up as long as possible in a space.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I look at construction sometimes can be art. You look at these
For
old
sure.
Victorian houses and the skill and craftsmanship that goes into a carpenter's work. And then you look at, like you're saying, a building going up in 3 days is just steel. And, not that I have anything against steampunk or industrial themes.
Right.
Um, but I just think it's, if you're looking, you can see art in everything. I know
Oh,
I
for
try
sure.
and paint, and people have to look at my paintings real closely to find out what it is I'm making. And that's just my style. I've never really refined it or wanted to, because to me, it's about finding the materials, getting a box of paint on a pick or some oils or a canvas and just doing what strikes the mood. And sometimes I'm busy and it's just a splash here and a splash there and a couple swipes to get an
Yeah.
idea of what is, and popular art can be as simple as the Forrest Gump, remembering the guy wiped his face and
Yeah.
then he had the
Exactly.
happy face on the shirt. And
Yep.
that was kind of a Forrest Gump explanation of how emotes and smiley faces got so popular.
Exactly. I
Something
love
so
that stuff, man.
simple and easy as just art.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like
That's
those
the
prints
cool
we were
part.
talking about, like these tire prints. Sure, you could take a
Yeah,
tire and
yeah,
directly intentionally make it,
yeah, exactly.
or you could just randomly get run over by a tire,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's art too,
Totally. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
No, I did want to bring the ties in because I discovered the easiest
Yeah.
way for me to tie the tie is to
Uh-huh.
tie it like I normally would.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
Bring it up like that,
Yeah.
flip it
And
around,
then
right?
yeah, hell yeah.
And then I got the head tie because not
Oh yeah,
everybody
there you
wants to
go.
dress up. I can pull it
Nice.
tight, just
Yeah,
like a tie.
that's
Bam.
awesome. That's a good way to go. Yeah, that's rad.
And so
That's
that
epic, man.
they may
That's
see
tight.
me as one thing this way, but sometimes I'll just put this up there like that. Boom, it
Yeah.
changes the whole world. This guy's wearing a tie. We respect him. Or even sometimes I'll wait till I walk away.
Yeah.
Or I'm
No, for
claiming now
sure.
I'm super hippie and this is a cape. You know me
Yeah.
and my jokes and my storytelling. I'm always making up
Right.
imaginary situations.
That's awesome. No, hell yeah. And you've already written some poetry today. That's amazing, man, for the respecting the veterans and tying in the Memorial Day ceremonial aspects. So it's a great headspace to be in when you wake up and write and start writing. That's
No,
such
I'm
a
so grateful for my freedom. I know our country has its issues and political conflict, but we really do get to enjoy a lot of freedom here in this country. And I am totally happy that I have freedom, and I remember the wars. I remember our fallen soldiers. It makes me sad.
Mhm.
You know, it is a sad day, a Memorial Day, but let's celebrate our freedom, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's
No,
celebrate
for sure.
American freedom for
Yeah,
whatever happened. And
exactly.
yeah, I woke up this morning and just was kind of like, okay, I wrote a couple poems that I thought were okay yesterday, trying to get caught up. I have a couple in the book, but I'm like, what is today? What's significant about today was Memorial Day. And so I started out with a poem, like I like to do. We're at that 15-minute mark, Jericho.
Yeah,
So I am going to take this time
yeah.
to say Michael Post, his name,
Oh,
because I
cool.
had a little meeting with him and he expressed some interest. You know, he's a real spiritual kind of meditative guy, and you know, caught some of what we're doing. We had a little conversation, so I thought maybe that fits into the Summerland being a spiritual community. Maybe we have him on as a guest. He
Yeah, it's a great
expressed
idea.
that yeah, he would. So that's the promo for today. Shout out to Michael Post, who may
Nice.
schedule to be a guest on and have some coffee with the Summerland kids.
Absolutely. No, it's great to have guests, and we're open to other guests joining us at anytime they want to jump in. You know, because we're an open book, man. We're just like, you know, Aaron and I went to Summerland Elementary, and I remember we used to have like, as kids, we'd love to have guest speakers in the class, man. You know, I was like, that was the best times when we had our um, our elder, whether it was parents or a guest speaker or a guest film or all those cool things that really added something to our day. You know.
Oh yeah, I mean they still do. You know, like that kind of stuff. You know, the work. You know, the Parents' Day or and
Yeah.
they come in and they talk about their job. I think they still do that at different
Yep. Yep.
schools and you know, more than just a substitute teacher because that's always fun too.
I know, right? Yeah. Bless their heart. I remember there were some kids in our, you know, you and I were pretty good as students, but there was some students that definitely caused a lot of ruckus. And I think it wasn't like they were angry. I think they were just having a lot of fun, and they would, you know, want to like it's attention grabbing, you know, because maybe at home their home life was maybe restricted, or maybe their home life was super free, and that was why it was they were just there as free spirits, you know, like Lisa Reagan and you know, Keith Reagan. You know, I mean, sometimes friends of ours in elementary school, they were just like instigators of the madness, so to speak, you know.
Well,
Free
yeah, I
range.
mean we're all kind of products of our
Yeah.
environment. You know, some people are chill, reserved. Some people like to push the limits. You know, you think of your motorcycle riders. I remember one of the kids, Jaya, he had a
Wow.
motorcycle, and I always thought he's pushing the limits. I always remember you pushing the limits on the skateboards and the
Totally.
surfboards, and some kids are just
Yeah.
wired that way. And there's nothing wrong with
I
pushing
know,
the
right?
limits, as you know, like you're saying, to the substitute teacher, because at that time they were just
Yeah.
kids and they were just that's just, you know, pushing the
Right.
limits. Let's do it.
I
That's
know.
their way.
I
There's nothing
know. It
wrong
was
with it.
like it's amazing how adult, well, you know, I don't even know if we knew, but we just felt so grown up already at like age 10, age 11, age 12. I personally I thought that we were just like we were already there, man. We knew everything. We were you know,
Oh yeah, I'd ride my little bike, and I started working with my
right.
grandma and mowing the lawn and stuff, and we got
Yeah.
the yard done. And so grandpa said, "Oh, I know some people down at the
Uh-huh.
polo field." So I started riding my bike over to the polo field, and I'm working and I'm doing just like all the grown-ups doing.
Yeah.
Now they're growing up, shoveling the
Yep. Yep.
stalls and being around the horses. I thought I was
Yeah,
all grown
exactly
up.
right. It's amazing when you're looking back how little we were, you know? Like when you look at yourself at like age 12, you're like, look, who's that little dude? You know, but
Uh, I wasn't I wasn't
oh right.
little at age 12, Jericho.
You were already like,
You remember I was everybody. I'm six foot
yeah,
four now, and I know
yeah, I'm
you're
6'1".
6 foot,
Yeah.
right? Well, yeah, a little above. And so even at 6'1", people are
Uh-huh.
here.
Right.
and I was 6'4" my freshman year in high school.
Wow. Oh my God. So you had a growing spurt. You
So
like when you remember we used to make those little lines on the wall as you were growing up, like you put yourself up and you try to see how tall you are, you know? That must have you
yeah.
probably just like straight like did a string bean, like just up the you're like a vine who just stretched out, you know?
Oh, my mom couldn't
Wow.
catch me. She always tried to catch me, and no, I'm busy. Later, I'm going to the
Wow.
beach. And so, yeah, there was probably by the time I was in
Uh-huh.
fifth grade, I quit
Okay.
tracking that, but I was 5 something in
Yeah,
fourth,
wow.
fifth grade.
That's awesome.
I was hanging out with the sixth graders in
Yeah,
third
no, for
grade.
sure. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, that was the cool thing about our schools. We had such diversity, it felt like, because we had a super mixed ethnic backgrounds, family backgrounds. Summerland School essentially had everybody there, man. I mean, I love that place. And I remember the marbles, you know, like having a sack of marbles. Some of the kids were like, you could tell they're probably their grandfather gave them their sack of marbles because their marbles were amazing, you know?
Oh, yeah, the Summerlands Pickers Association. Not only did they have the grandfather's marbles, but they had a bunch of marbles from a bunch of
I
people's
know, right?
grandfathers because, well, maybe their dad
Yeah,
collects
and
them.
then you could win. Somehow you would win other people's marbles, I think. Like it
Yeah, I remember there was a
okay,
circle. There was 2 games we played
okay.
chase, no fudgies, but then we had
Oh,
circles. And if you could knock the other guy's marble
okay,
out of
that's
the
what it was.
circle, you got to keep your
Yeah,
marbles
yeah.
or something.
So
Yeah.
so
I lost all
yeah,
my
right.
marbles, but I know exactly where they went. They went to that other guy, that 6th grader I was trying
Right.
to play when I was in
Yeah,
3rd
yeah,
grade.
exactly. So, you know, I mean, there's a couple that's just, what is it, Summerland Memories, which is like a Facebook page for some Summerlanders. But you know, it's interesting how
Uh-huh.
there's a few folks that are still there from Summerland Elementary, um, but you know, it's like, of course, I wish we could, you know, like you and I got together. I wish there was more of us. You know, I mean, we have like Sarah Finner has been popping up quite a bit on our pages, and shout out to Sarah. And then, but everyone's not super into Facebook sometimes because of the, you know, the politics or this or that. Like, oh, I'm not on there.
Some people are just
Yeah,
private. I mean, you got, you do it, the Briggs Myers, whatever, some people are, um, what do they call
well,
it?
centered, I guess, be focused on
No, like there's people that are like, I like to go
public.
out. I like to see people. I like to socialize,
Yeah,
extrovert. Some people are just extroverts and some
introverts.
people are introverts. They like
Yeah,
their privacy. They're like
for sure.
their people and they don't like you
Yeah.
people. And that's fine because everything's great. In Summerland, there was room for us to all be different
Exactly. No, that was the cool thing.
and there's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
exactly. I mean, you know, being as some of you may not know, but Aaron and I were raised in Summerland, California, and it's a little small beach community. So that really gave us something. It's kind of like living in a lake community with a lake out front. Instead of the lake out front, we had the Pacific Ocean out front. So, and a whole beach full of sand and driftwood and all sorts of imaginary stuff that we could make up, you know, on each day. It was like a new adventure. And we also had the little mountains and the hills behind the town. So it's like not only do you got the freaking Pacific Ocean and the beach, you got the mountains behind you. So it's like it kind of felt like we had it all, man. You know, really.
Oh yeah. One day we decided, oh, let's go
Yeah.
explore the mountains. We're kids. We're free range kids. Gen Xers, one of the last generations of
Right.
free rangers. Well, I think there's some little
No, for
pockets of
sure.
us still. And we take off first thing in the morning. We're young. We don't know. Bring water. Bring snacks. It comes midday. It's hot. We're lost in the middle of an
Right.
avocado orchard. Which way
Yeah.
is home? Where's the water? We made it home by
Wow.
dark, but yeah,
That
the
was probably
mountains, the
like
beach,
you and
everything was
Dan
just.
Taglis and Jay and maybe Sean Durrell. You know, I remember hanging out with all those guys. I mean, we all,
I think it was
yeah,
Dan, and it might have
yeah,
been Jay, because that the street I lived on and the
yeah.
street I was born
Farley,
on.
right?
We all lived on there. Jay, Dan,
Hootie, Roy.
me,
Yeah,
and a couple other
yeah.
people. Yeah, and then I remember some people lived up the hill a bit, way up on top. Some people like you were down, literally
I
right
know,
in front of
right?
the beach.
God. So
Um,
amazing, man.
but we all kind of hung out and got along. I mean, today's world, you see these people talk about it, the social
Yeah,
divide, the economic
right.
divide, and it didn't make no difference as kids. We were just like, we're at the beach. Who's riding the waves? Who's making
Yeah,
sandcastles?
exactly.
Whatever.
My friend Yuri just walked in. Yuri, what year did you come into Summerland? Was it like 1980? Were you like 11?
Hi, Yuri.
86, 87. So that was like when we were teens. And then Yuri had to go to, well, his mom to military school. I think he would, because his, for high school, did you go to high school at all, Yuri, in Santa Barbara?
Anacapa.
Anacapa? Yeah.
And
Here he is.
and
There's Aaron. Hey,
Hey,
bud.
Yuri.
Yeah.
What's going on, dude?
God, yeah. Oh, God.
Good to see you.
Yeah, totally.
Tigger says
Yeah,
all kinds of
exactly.
stuff. Tigger.
Totally.
He has my coffee. He gives me a little bit of that
That's
coffee every
good.
day.
That's good. Yeah. So,
We just got a few more
yeah,
minutes
we're
to
almost
wrap
wrapped.
it up. I wanted to ask you before you go about that
Yeah,
picture
Yuri painted
behind
this
you.
painting behind me. It's a big painting. That's actually kind of a better shot right there. A little color action. Work in progress. You know, one of Yuri's works in progress.
No, because something like that just fits for this idea I have for this van
Oh,
we
right.
just got.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
and it's just so awesome, you know. And I want, you know, I don't know if Yuri's seen, like, I'm not necessarily a art other than the stage of
yeah,
life. But that damn that
I
darn
know.
rainbow showed up again in my art room, in my music room, and like, did you see that
Yeah,
thing?
it's amazing, man. I mean, you got some.
Have you ever seen
No,
colors
not.
like that come out of a rainbow? Have you ever seen something like that?
It's a
And
blessing.
I'm like, okay, this is just my life, because I always talk about, you know, being intuitive or a sensitive,
Uh-huh.
emotional sensitive. And I cast a rainbow bubble, which is just my terminology I use for safe boundaries, safe barriers. You know, if you
Right.
got to pass through the rainbow colors to get close to me, because the rainbow colors will block out the wrong people and the wrong thing.
Oh, right.
And that's just kind of a philosophy I developed as an intuit, as an emotionally sensitive man, to
Right.
protect myself from the stuff out there. And oh my gosh, the rainbows are just blasting with the solar flares and woo.
Right. No, for sure. That's amazing. At some point I should try to make one. Because one of our old neighbors down by the beach used to make these water prisms. So it's all the same principle of the crystal, reflecting the rainbows on the wall. The water prism, it was made of glass and full of water, would also shoot rainbows onto the walls. So, but it took like glass cutting and silicone is how he held it all together, and essentially made a geometric shape like a star, and then siliconed it together, and then I think he injected the water with a syringe into the prism. So it's a three-dimensional water sculpture that hung from from your back patio. So it's almost like a big version of the crystal. That's what that was. So that,
And it
anyways,
shot
that's.
rainbows everywhere.
Oh yeah, shot rainbows everywhere. Big ones, like yours look pretty big, but these were like the size of a grapefruit or something. The rainbow size.
Well, that
You know.
rainbow on the wall was like 7 feet long.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
You could see
Wow.
the window, and and here's the funny thing, Jericho. It came about that I caught that rainbow
Right.
because I was cleaning the cat toilet, my
Oh
chore, the
yeah,
most
that's
hated
awesome.
chore I have, and I was like, you know what? I love my cats. I was just had this great attitude about going to do my chore,
Yeah.
and whoa, how did this come about? And I don't know exactly, but it somehow was a reflection off my electronic / flying bicycle.
Oh wow.
That's a whole nother story in itself, which I
Rainbows and
think I will
unicorns.
to you privately.
Yeah.
But we got about 10 seconds left before we hit the
Yeah.
mark.
We're Coffee with the Summerland Kids. We just want to thank you for joining us today And I want to thank Yuri Elvin for letting me stay at the studio. And that's it, man. It's a wrap. Coffee with the Summerland kids. Yuri, can
And
say
then
goodbye.
Tigger always says, ta-ta for
Later.
now.
Yeah,
Later.
ta-ta.